What's up everybody, welcome back to my Adobe Photoshop for Beginners series. If you're new to my videos or this is your first time watching, you are watching one video that's part of a larger collection of videos that I put together for beginners in Photoshop, people that want to get started, or maybe even people that have already jumped into Photoshop but want to pick up some new skills. Let's jump into this. Now in my last video, I kind of left you guys on a cliffhanger. It was with this last tile here that I added. What I did is I went in here and I added what's called a blending mode to my layer because there was some discoloration between this tile and that tile, or between this concrete and the copied tile that I put on here. So I went over here and I was like, oh, I'll show you guys later and I'll talk about it later. So there you go, I talked about it. Let's move. No, I'm just kidding. You guys know I wouldn't do you like that. Let's go ahead and talk about blending modes real quick. Alright, so blending modes, what they allow you to do is they allow you to take a layer and blend it with layers that are below it. And this usually renders a great looking effect to your photo, and it's very simple, just done with the click of a button. All layers start off with a normal blending mode, meaning they're not being blended whatsoever. So when I did a copy of this tile, you notice that the color was different, and I went in here and I added darken. And it darkened it so it blended this layer with the layer that's below it. Now these are grouped into kind of a classification of what they do. So this group here will darken the layer that you add the mode to. This will lighten the layer. These are overlay. These are the ones that kind of do like the introverse.
What the hell did you just say?
Colors that are in your photo with the photos that are below it. And these deal with the lightness and color of those blending modes. Let me go ahead and show you guys a better example of blending modes. What I did is I went and I found a picture called Night Sky Stars. And I'm going to show you guys how to bring one photo into another photo or a Photoshop project. So all I'm going to do is, you see that you have up here each project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this down here and I'm going to click down with my mouse and holding down the mouse, and I'm going to make sure you're on your move tool. I'm going to click, hold, and I'm going to drag this into this other project. I'm going to release it, and there it is. Now you have the option of bringing this back up to the top and docking it back up there, or what I like to do is I just like to close on out of it because I'm done with it. Alright, so in a previous tutorial I already showed you guys how to scale, so I'm going to go ahead and scale this up. I believe I showed you the clicking method or doing Control T. Now I'm going to show you that you can go right up here into transform, and we're going to scale from here. Now when you scale, if you grab any one of these corners here, it would allow you to resize that image. But if you notice, it's not constrained. It's not staying to its true shape and enlarging it. It's really making it kind of oblong. So what you have to do if you want to constrain those properties is you hold shift as you're holding down that mouse button, and I'm dragging it, and it is keeping it constrained and making it larger. Now what you also notice is as I'm dragging it out, it's bringing it from that corner that I drug it from. Now if you hold shift and alt, what it does is it constrains it, but it also scales up your image from the anchor point. This is the anchor point here. So instead of it just bringing it from this corner here and dragging it out this way, when you hold shift and alt and you drag it, it does it from the anchor point, which is normally the center of your photo. So cool, I like that there. Now to accept that scale, I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter, and now it's there, and my son is lost in the abyss, never to return. Actually, no, he's not. Remember, I just added that layer above those other layers. So let's go ahead and add a blending mode. Now I played around with this a little bit before the video, obviously, so I didn't like that there when I did darken. I didn't like the color dodge, even though that's kind of cool. It looks kind of snowy. The one I liked the most was the overlay. I do like that one. Now one thing I don't like is I don't like that spot there. I'm okay with that spot there. That's cool how that turned out. It looks like she misfired on her camera or something. Like, what the heck is going on? But I don't like that one there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do what I showed you guys in the last video. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to draw around that. I'm going to fill that, content aware, click OK, and it's gone. Now I'm going to deselect that, and I like the way that looks. So as you can see, just adding that simple blend mode to that layer, it blended it with the layers that are below it, and I have this awesome effect. But some of you guys, I notice your attention is right over here. You're like, Joseph, that looks hideous. And you're right. But remember, we're dealing with layers. And with this layer, I brought this image in and it's blending with everything that's below it. But this layer here, that tile that I copied, is above that one. So all you got to do is click down on this layer and drag it. Or I could have clicked on the top one and drug it down here. So you can move your layers around. That's one thing that is also neat here in Photoshop. So I'm liking the way this looks, but I really don't like the fact that it covered up my son's face there. One beautiful thing about Photoshop is nobody cares on the method or the way that you got your finish, your end product. All they care about is the end product. So I love doing things that may be unconventional or whatever, but they work, and in the end they look good. So this is something that I love doing. I love using the eraser tool. Now remember, the eraser tool is only going to be applied to whatever. It's only going to erase whatever layer I'm on. So I'm on that Starry Night layer, which I blended on top of these other layers, my background layer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to erase this layer off of my son's face. Look at that. Now look at that there, Billy Bob. Look at that. Starting to look pretty good, pretty good. Now the reason that it's not so harsh and that I'm having to pretty much like paint over this and keep going over it, keep stroking over it, is because up here I have the opacity and my flow, which this is a control panel that controls whatever tool you're on. You notice it'll change depending on what tool I'm on. So I have the opacity set to 50 and I have the flow set to 50. So it's going to take a little double the amount of strokes as if I had that up to 100, which I like because it would have been really harsh if I just would have came straight in here with 100% flow and 100% opacity. So I like that. It brought my son's face out. And with that, we're going to wrap today's video up. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't watched any of my previous videos, go ahead and watch those. And make sure you subscribe because I'm going to have more Photoshop for Beginners tutorials coming your way. Take care, guys.